I have two Spyderco Mule series knives in Magnacut steel. I'm going to do edge testing on both. Very cool to have two samples of a steel in the same knife. Makes the test double as, don't know, does it? I don't know. But got the two knives, may as well do two tests. So what I will do is I will do the factory edges first, which will be either interesting or really not interesting, because I think we probably all know that it's probably quite difficult for them to do identical factory edges, but I guess we will see. Neither of these knives have ever cut anything. They should be at the same heat treatment. They should be, there should be a few more controls than I've usually got, so cool. But yes, nothing has been cut with these blades. I haven't touched them up or sharpened them or anything, so it's all sort of about how close they can get their factory edges to one another. So there we are. So what is Magnacut? Magnacut, you may have heard about it from, barely social cats like myself who are, pretty excited about a steel that really does seem to cover the trinity of things, which is stainlessness, toughness, and edge retention. And it is becoming widely enough proliferated now that you can get it in a lot of different knives. So these Mule series knives, these are like Spyderco's exploratory models where they put new steels in it, release it to the community, and people muck about with it and report back, and it's kind of just a big learning experience. I've had these for a couple of weeks now. I've been putting off doing this because I don't have scales for these mules, but I've got these pretty comfortable gloves which actually do cushion most of the skeletonization, which is still not ideal, but all the mule scales I've been looking at, they'll have to get them all from overseas, and that can be like a month sometimes, especially lately. So just going to do them with a gloved hand. Now let's first see how these go through paper, because my cut test, very nice actually, my cut test cuts twisted sisal rope until the knives no longer do this, until they start hiccuping on the paper and chunking out or tearing off and that sort of thing. So that's when I stop my test. So I use twisted sisal rope. I've done many of these tests. You can check my channel out, most of my reviews, and then I've done individual tests, over, I think I'd be about 400 of them by now, with all different sorts of knives and steels and edges and whatnot. So the way this is going to go, two factory edges, and then we're going to do two 17-degree mirror polished edges on these two Spyderco Mule knives. I'm just going to write 1 and 2 on them, and that'll let me keep track of them, I suppose, more than anything. Let's do the factory edge tests now. Very little slide down here, but 400. Really can't feel a weak point yet. finally, we have a dead spot on the first factory knife at 750 cuts, and it's, you know, still largely a very sharp knife. It's just on my paper slice, it started to skip off and no longer reliably just do a glide slice as you test the edge through the paper. So, fuck me, that was a lot more than I thought it would do. In my mind, I thought it was going to be like 500-ish or something. So I'm not sure what the heat treatment is. If I find out, I'll put it on the screen now, what the Rockwell Hardness is and all that sort of thing. Because that is, for a factory edge, that is some pretty excellent results. That's like S110V level, what you get from a really good edge on that stuff. So better than I thought it was. In my mind, Maximet, from the previous tests I've done with, Magnacut. Magnacut is, you know, was about the M390 level of edge retention with good M390. So it may even be better than that from what these knives are sort of showing me now with this heat treatment anyway. So, wow, good steel. That's, you know, that's whatever you think of my test. And I know it's not perfect. Like, that's a lot of stuff to put a knife blade through. And it's still holding a really good edge after all that. Like this, you know, this is like cutting carpet, you know? So anyway, let's move on to the next knife. Oh, there might be a clothing change if I decide I'll just do it tomorrow. No, I'm back. I'm gonna do it today. Otherwise I'll just be thinking about it all night, wondering how it's gonna go. So it's a sickness. Yeah, it's a sickness. All right. First cut, this chopping board was driving me crazy. I was sliding around all over the desk. You must realize this is a newish setup for me here. I haven't had this desk. I'm still using the same chopping board I've been using forever, but it's a slipperier surface on the desk. It slides around a bit more. Anyway, I have to stand too because my chair is too low and I get a real sort of hunch going, and that really hurts. Especially, I didn't realize it was going to last so long in the first one. So I've got a slight blister coming up on my index finger, but the glove mitigated it a fair amount. Actually, the thing that hurts the most is often my hand cramping, sort of feeding the rope in. It's a very sort of repetitive motion. So at any rate, not too much more woe is me, don't worry. Let's get on with knife number 2. So up to a new pack of C-Cell. The last one had about a foot left or something, so I'll just scrap it and start fresh. Use the same brand. Now it's Pro, but it used to be called Grunt. I think it's just changed hands. So yeah, 750 was the last factory edge for the other one, which was crazy long for a factory edge. I don't think I've had a factory edge go so well. So either they've just got a really good sharpening regime going there at Spyderco, or there's some amazing thing going on with the heat treatment, or both. I really couldn't find anywhere an official statistic on what the Rockwell hardness is. I'm going to assume it's about at least 63 or something like that, because that would be what I think this is recommended to run at. So at 62 or 63, I think, is. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments. Righto. Okay, so this might be an entirely different edge. This might last 300 times, it might last 500, it might go to 1,000 times, which I really sincerely fucking hope it doesn't. But if it does, yay science. All right, let's get into it. I feel awkward doing it standing up, but it really is better for you know what, I'll sit down for the first little bit, and then once my shoulder hurts too much, I'll stand up. It's just choose your suffering, you know? Not a single hiccup at 300. Not surprising, I suppose. one, you can feel as to sort of stimulate how it feels. As you go through it, it goes psh, psh, but it's still making a slice, but you can feel the worn area, but it's at 800 and it's still going. So let's see, do another 50, see what it does. Gone a little bit dull on that edge. It's just steering the paper off in a different direction. So yeah, I guess that's where I stopped the test. So yeah, 100 passes out of, you know, numbers like 750 and 850, it is what, it's like a 12% variance or something like that, which for something that just a stupid human's doing, I'm obviously not a machine that's doing it like to laser precision, I'd say is about, probably still within acceptable parameters. I would say these are probably both almost identical edges. I would say the same heat treatment, everything like that, you'd hope. But yeah, if it was too far further out, you might be able to say that one's ground slightly different, but certainly to the eye, they both look virtually the same. In terms of grit and everything, they look like about sort of 600 grit finishes. So wow, really crazy edge retention on Magnacut, that's for sure. Like this factory level, this is almost what you'd get approaching, well, I've had Maxamet, it's not done this well, so obviously Spyderco's, you know, the Mules are pretty well ground knives. You can see they're quite thin behind the edge and everything like that, but also it's in this, you know, this crazy new Magnacut steel, which is just kicking a lot of goals, and to have a steel that lasts an edge that long, that is, you know, not, toughness isn't its main virtue, but it's still tough enough, as well as being so stainless that Spyderco used Magnacut in their Salt series, which is certainly a fair endorsement. And in terms of my testing on Magnacut, you can watch my previous Magnacut video. It is extraordinarily difficult to get it to rust. I haven't managed it myself so far. So tomorrow or next video I do on Magnacut is going to be like this was just the drive around town, you know, seeing how it goes straight from the dealership. Next is going to be, you've taken it to mechanic, you've souped it up as far as you can go. I think it's going to crack, it might even crack 1,000 cuts with my 17-degree mirror polished edge. I mean, there's all sorts of things about steel. Maybe it does better with a coarse finish, who knows. I'll continue to play with it. I love that I've got two of them, so I can really sort of make sure nothing's too fluky. Hope you found this of interest so far. I'll continue my Magnacut testing. I just need to rest, relax, heal up a bit. Probably look for it within the next week or so. All right, cheers.